Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kate Show. Today we're talking about Capcom because, well, the head honcho at Capcom thinks that you should be charged more for video games. And personally, I have been 100% against the price hike of video games, specifically because, well, video games aren't getting better. Matter of fact, they've been getting worse. They've been getting less fun. They've been getting all sorts of nonsense, really. It's sad to say. And while I've fallen victim to this $70 price tag occasionally, it's worth noting that I've bought less games day one than ever before. It's sad that that's the case, but it is the case, and I'm sure that a lot of other individuals are also in the same boat. Games aren't really worth their asking price, sad to say. But let us jump into the topic because, well, Capcom's president thinks its games should cost more. The publisher hasn't yet joined others in charging $70 for new releases, and that is definitely fair. They have not went over to the $70 price tag yet. When we're talking about games like Resident Evil 4 Remake as well as Street Fighter 6, both really damn good games in terms of, general quality and really games that launched day one in good working order. But it is worth noting the reality that these are also cross-gen games. Not only are they available on current-gen consoles, but they're also available on last-gen consoles. So they're like last-gen games that are, getting extra bells and whistles on new-gen consoles. So, it can be questioned whether they are actually worth, the price hike of games. But to be fair, you also have games like Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom that are also $70. It's kind of one of those things where there is no determining factor of what makes a game deserving of that price hike. There is no line that is drawn. A developer, a publisher just chooses the price point for whatever arbitrary reason. There's no rules here. They just do what they want. Sad to say, but it is what it is, right? The president of Capcom has said he believes video games should cost more to buy. According to a report from Neki, Haruhiro Tatsujimoto was speaking during the Tokyo Game Show about several topics, including increasing costs of game development. Tatsujimoto reportedly said that he felt game prices should reflect these increasing costs and that they're currently too cheap. And he's quoted saying, "Personally, I feel like game prices are too low," Tatsujimoto reportedly said. "Development costs are around 100 times higher than they were in the days of the Famicom/NES, but the price of software hasn't risen so much." And, look, buddy. Yes, I'm sure that the cost of games, producing these games has risen. But let's be real now. There's way more people to sell to now than there was back during the NES. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Buy a lot. Okay, and games are more accessible to be purchased than ever before. You could buy it on a digital storefront. You could go to a store anywhere. Your games are available in more countries than ever before. Especially in comparison to those days. I mean, listening to individuals that were gaming back in the 80s, like your Happy Console gamers, Happy Console Gamer would literally travel from his country, which was Canada, to the US in order to get a game. And by the way, that was, months after the release in Japan. So accessibility is higher than ever before. There are more people to sell to more than ever before. You're going to be putting your games on phones, your AAA games on phones. So that alone is going to increase the purchasing of your games than ever before. And that is really how you do combat this. You make your games more accessible to more audiences across the world. So by that alone, you technically don't need to increase the price of your games. And he goes on to continue saying, "There is also a need to raise wages in order to attract talented people. Given that wages are rising across the industry as a whole, I think the option of raising unit prices is a healthy form of business." And that is completely false. Guys. How do you consider selling less units, less video games, to be a healthy form of business, because no matter what you do, raising the price of video games will in fact decrease sales. You will sell less video games if you increase the price of your video games. That is just a sad reality. Like, for me personally, I have bought less games day one because most of these games, quite frankly, weren't even worth it at the $60 price tag, let alone the $70 price tag. And this is a $10 difference. Now, there are other countries where this increase in video games is far more substantial than in the US. And I completely understand that. And that really does suck. And the fact that we have these prices, these price hikes, just in general, in probably what is a terrible time in gaming, just in economic time. And I'm sure that, yes, the wages of these workers will indeed have to increase. I mean, we're in economic time that is not fun. It is sadly not fun. And you know what's also not fun? A lot of video games that come out now. During a crappy time economically, not having fun games, but you expecting us to pay more for these games that are less fun than ever before, that are less creative than ever before. I mean, you're on Street Fighter 6 and you're on a Resident Evil 4 remake after having done a bunch of other Resident Evil remakes. And you think that we should pay more than ever before. Oh man, this is cute, guys. It's very, very cute. And to continue, while some publishers have started charging $70 for their games, Capcom has yet to make this move. The standard editions of Street Fighter 6 and the Resident Evil 4 remake each cost $60 at launch. And that's really because, well, they will sell less games. And they know that. But apparently that's a healthy form of business. Then why haven't you done it already, I wonder? Because less games will be sold. Capcom has announced each year that it would be raising its employees' base salary by 30% and introducing a new bonus system more closely tied to the company's business performance. And you know what? That's really good on their part to increase, employee salaries, and well, really, it has to be indicative of whether, what they're making is good. And I will say this, I think that Capcom has really been holding it down this generation, far more than a lot of other publishers / developers. I think that they really do good work, while, it's questionable as to some of the things that they do, especially in regards to DLC and, well, some of their business practices. Overall, they tend to put out pretty damn good products. But, let us continue elsewhere. In Neki's article, Tatsuimoto also reportedly said that he didn't feel the current economic climate was affecting video game sales, saying business confidence and high prices have little to do with the games industry. Just as the recession doesn't stop people from going to the cinema or going to their favorite artist's concert, high-quality games will continue to sell well, he said. Even during the Lehman Brothers collapse, games sold well. And you know what? It's one of those things where during, economic times, people still look for entertainment. But we see people going to the cinema less because, well, films suck. Films are absolute crap. And guess what? That's why people go to the cinema less. That's why you see Hollywood film after Hollywood film completely take an L. That's why Disney slings shit all the time. And guess what? They're taking L after L after L. And guess what? Gaming is going down the same going down the same way, the same path. While I think games, are still a better form of entertainment than cinema, than film, it's still clearly obvious that in comparison to back when we were kids, games were far more fun back then than they are now. And it's not because I'm getting old. It's definitely not because of that. I'm playing Starfield and absolutely as addicted to Starfield as I was when I played Oblivion. And, that's really because there's just an insane... Starfield is so flawed, but it's so fun. It is so damn fun. But, that's my personal opinion. I know, Starfield has a bit of a mixed reaction, and I totally understand that. It's completely flawed, but I just have that same fun factor with Starfield that I had with Oblivion, but a lot of other games nowadays, they don't have that. A lot of other games are devoid of so many necessary things. A lot of games are full of absolute BS, from insane monetizations like DLC, like skins, freaking battle passes, absolute nonsense after the sale. I mean, look at Capcom recently released the dinosaur game that's like, well, why didn't you just make Dino Crisis, man? Why did you choose to make this live service game that nobody was gonna play from the jump? I'm pretty sure that most people that played said dinosaur game, I don't even remember the name, it's such a nothing burger. I'm pretty sure that the only people played this game that actually, invested time were people that got it on Game Pass. Because I looked at that game and said, oh man, dude, who would actually pay full price for this game? And come to find out, it's kind of an empty game, from what I heard. They said that, like, from people that have played it, they're like, yeah, the mechanics of this game are actually pretty decent, but the game overall, kind of empty. So imagine paying $70 for that. And it's like your Destinies, your whatever, all these games launch empty as hell. But yet they want you to pay more. And Capcom's stock price hit a new all-time high in May and has broken this record numerous times since then, reaching as high as 6,520 yen in July. So I don't know what that converts to in regards to the dollar, but it seems like you guys are doing great, even despite not raising your price for games. So that off the bat pretty much shows that you don't need to increase the price of games. Clearly, you just need to succeed. Do your thing. Be great. Make games that people actually want to buy en masse. Don't be a sellout. Don't disrespect your consumer base. And they said in its financial results covering the year ending March 31st, 2023, the Resident Evil publisher said it has sold 41.7 million games during the 12-month period, breaking its record for most games sold in a business year. And they know that this is important. This is so important. They're selling more games than ever. And honestly, and this is coming from a company that almost died a decade ago. And they're selling more games than ever before. And that is really because they make some damn good games. Games that are made on the Resident Evil engine, they are so freaking awesome, man. They are genuinely awesome games. But at the same time, too, Capcom is also responsible for making some absolute boneheaded decisions. And it's just think that, imagine if not only Resident Evil 3 Remake being a remake, so devoid of any, creativity, not only this game being if you speedrun, you can finish it in like 2 hours. I mean, there's a lot of Resident Evil games that are like that, but being a relatively short game that was actually originally supposed to be DLC to Resident Evil 2 Remake, then attaching a BS multiplayer game that, well, nobody cared about. Nobody cared about from the jump. Just to justify making it $60. Imagine if on top of it all, they actually made Resident Evil 3 Remake a $70 game. Absolutely stupid. And that was boneheaded of them to make that game a $60 game. It's sad because if gaming held the same standard as it did, back 20 years ago, the shame is many people would be fine with the increased price of games. That's the reality of it. People would totally be okay with it. People are so sick of the nonsense of the egregious practices that happen when it comes to gaming. I mean, people are literally saying, hey guys, why can't, all these companies respect the consumer like the developers of Baldur's Gate 3, Larian Studios, why can't they respect the gamer's time, money, and overall show love to the gamer the way Baldur's Gate 3 did? And I pose that question now. And the fact that these companies think that they should be charging more, when really, what have they been bringing to the table? They've been bringing less than ever before. They've been spitting in your face, demanding you pay more money for their games. And just, man, it is just a terrible time for gaming. Because really, we have all this great technology that could take gaming to an insane level that we may never see, man. We may never see. If they would have, like, the dream of gaming would be them having the same mentality that they had back, 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, with the technology that they have now. But instead, we have companies that basically try and nickel and dime you over everything while putting not money into making these games, but how to market you into basically you giving up everything in order to play their game. That's what it is, man. It's all about the marketing. You could have an absolute piece of crap, but if it's marketed in the right ways, with the right amount of money to market this game properly, well, you could sell an absolute turd and get decent sales out of it. It's happened time and time again. These people would rather fool you into buying a bad game than just buckling down and doing what needs to be done to make a great game, to make an original game, to be the next best thing. They'd rather copy trends. They'd rather do all the things that really is detrimental to the industry. It is holding gaming back. But they want you to pay more because of their own shortcomings. That's really what it is. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this. I know a lot of people just always like, well, you're just cheap, Cass. You're just cheap. You're just cheap as hell, Cage. You don't want to pony up. And it's like, no, I don't want to pony up, man. Because you know what? I buy games and I don't have fun. And that's not all these games. I have more fun with a $20 indie game than I do with a massive AAA budgeted title that's at the $70 price tag. Why is that? Because, man, we lost the plot. That's really what it is. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitter or Kick if you'd like to continue the conversation. Consider becoming a channel member. A basic channel membership gets you instant access to the Discord. And guys, with all that being said, I'm out. Peace.